How's it going? It's Liman Ali here from Reno Gamers. Today I'm with Pullman Elliott and he's just going to talk to us about the upcoming Hitman Solution game. So Pullman, why don't you just give us a quick introduction
Yes.
by yourself?
I'm a game designer at IO Interactive and I've been working on contracts mode specifically for Hitman.
Okay, so in terms of Hitman, how about a quick brief overview about the game and specifically the Agent 47 character?
Well, Agent 47 is the world's greatest assassin. He's almost this urban myth of the perfect killer. The man who can pull off an assassination behind a locked door and nobody will know what happened.
Okay, so Agent 47. This time, I heard that he's facing his toughest enemy. Well, toughest guy you could possibly come up against.
Well, this time we see him in a situation that he hasn't, I think, been in before. He's been betrayed, and he's looking for answers. And I think that the people who betrayed him are going to regret it. So we're going to see a story about Agent 47 where we see him from angles we haven't seen him from before. We're definitely going to get experience of the character.
Okay, so when you say like angles and I've seen Agent 47 from before, so I'm talking like the soft side. Are you going to see him like petting a cat?
No, I don't think Agent 47 pets a cat or a canary. But we're definitely going to see him in a situation where he's not in control of what's going on, where he's reacting to what's happening, where we definitely see him in situations that have more conflict.
So speaking of conflict,
yes.
Specifically when I was playing demo just moments ago, for specific missions, I'm not sure if there's all of them, but specific ones, there's like a crazy amount of ways you could possibly get to your target. Is that in tune with the actual conflict, with him is he still in control of the situation?
Well, this is the level that you played, King of China,
yes.
is a classic hit. So this is really 47 in his in the situation where he excels, which is approaching the target, determining how best to make the hit, and then performing it and getting away. So the actual decision of how to do that is up to the player. You can pull it off as the perfect stealth hit, poison the sushi without anybody realizing you did it, or you can do it in a much more action-oriented approach. You could take it on guns blazing if you wanted to. So when we provide all of these different ways of going about things, it's about freedom of choice. So there's a story, there's a conflict that's carrying the player through this great Hitman experience, but we really provide you with a huge number of different ways to carry out the kill, and then you decide how you want to do it.
Okay, so how important is the environment when it comes to performing these kills? So for example, in the King of Chinatown demo, Chinatown full of happy, bustling people, which were all in my way, by the way. They were all standing in my way.
Yes.
So how important is you keeping an eye on your surroundings and your environment?
Well, I mean, it's absolutely key for the ultimate assassin, because you need to know where threats are, you need to know where people who might be suspicious of you are, and you also need to know where there are locations where you might be able to pull off, for example, an accident kill, or where you might be able to get your target isolated.
So, moving along from there, contracts. Yes. So, the mode where you take on contracts and people online can also create contracts for you to take upon, basically. So, how did this come about?
Well, this came actually from the fans, because when we looked at what we wanted to do to have a social aspect in the game, we looked at what our fans were doing with Blood Moon, the previous Hitman game, and what they were doing is they were experimenting with all kinds of fun, crazy ways to take targets out. You take this guy out, shoot only. You take this guy out with an explosion. Things that were not part of the story in Blood Moon, where they were like experimenting with what they could do. And then they would post this on forums, YouTube videos, things like that. So we started thinking about, well, what if any level in the game could have contracts on it? What if you could go in, mark a guy by pressing a button on your keyboard on your controller, and the way you killed him became a contract. You play to create. There's no editor. So you go in, you play through the level, you're stealthy, you kill the guy with an accident, then you leave. Then you've created an accident contract. where you get the best score for being stealthy. You press a button and you save it. So there's no editor, there's no God mode. You know when you're creating it if this contract is fun, if your friends will enjoy it. You just walk up to some guy, shoot him in the back of the head, and walk out again. It's boring. But if you can get to him in a way that nobody expects, and then you create a contract and you say it, your friends will look at this and think, how did he do this? And they'll start to experiment, almost like a murder mystery. And then they'll crack it and they'll solve it in ways you don't expect.
Okay, so carrying on from that, so is there like an infinite number of kind of contracts? Obviously there would be a limit, but
well, I mean, there are
I would be thinking there'd be a crazy amount.
There are a very large number of characters, a very large number of different ways of taking characters out, a lot of weapons, and there's always more than one way to pull a contract off. Just because you do it in one way doesn't mean that someone else can't look at it and think, if I take the shot from here, or if I do this first, I'll be able to do it better and faster.
Okay, so is contracts immediately there as soon as the game is launched?
Yes, contracts is immediately available. The levels that are available in contract mode are available from the start. You don't have to unlock them.
Nice.
That may change before we launch, but right now you don't have to unlock them. But if you're going to a level that you haven't reached in single player, you do get a spoiler warning. Because you may see some things in the level, hear some things in the level that might relate to the story. Contracts mode does. We do get rid of the cutscenes and all that kind of stuff, so you don't experience the story when you're playing contracts mode. But for example, you might see some posters on the wall that refer to something that you wouldn't have seen in the game. But I mean, we tell you that you might see some spoilers here. You accept it because this contracts mode is almost like sort of an alternate story. It's not about 47 doing whatever the story says. It's about 47 coming there to kill something.
Fair enough. Okay, so Torben, thanks very much for speaking with us.
You're very welcome.
If you want to one more time, just tell everyone when Hitman Absolution is coming out.
Hitman Absolution is out on November the 20th for PlayStation, Xbox, and PC.
And where your fans can get more info on the game?
Well, barcodesociety.com. That's our community site. That's where all of the good stuff can be found.
Okay, Torben, thanks again. That's Hitman Absolution for you. Go check it out. Subscribe to the channel, Winner Gamers TV, and we'll see you later.
So, this is it. We've dressed you to the nines. We've given you every conceivable tool to do the job. And built a vast and intricate world. Now it's in your hands. 47 is back. It's been a pleasure, ladies and gentlemen. The game's out on November 20th. Good luck.